विहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरदारी यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यमुना तीरवनचारि नमामि ते हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम हरे राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यामनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन स्वयं रूपा तदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादां सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमः ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमहृदाय कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरकृष्णे हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त श्रीराधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गोदाङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरि वृषभानुसुते देवी नमामि नीलाचलनिवासाय नित्याय परमात्मने बलभद्र सुभद्राभ्यां जगन्नाथाय ते नमः वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यः पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरो दीनतारिणम् 12 today. Shreya Vigyanam Abhyasaj Jnanadhyanam Vishishyate Jnanad Karma Phala Tyaga Tyaga Shantiranantaram. If you cannot take to this practice, then engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge. Better than knowledge, however, is meditation. And better than meditation is renunciation of the fruits of action. For by such renunciation, one can attain peace of mind. As mentioned in the previous verses, there are two kinds of devotional service: the way of regulative principles and the way of full attachment in love to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For those who are actually not able to follow the principles of Krishna consciousness, it is better to cultivate knowledge, because by knowledge one can be able to understand his real position. Gradually, knowledge will develop to the point of meditation. By meditation, one can be able to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead by a gradual process. In the cultivation of knowledge, there are processes which make one understand that one himself is the Supreme. And that sort of meditation is preferred if one is unable to engage in devotional service. If one is not able to meditate in such a way, there are prescribed duties as enjoined in the Vedic literature for the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Shudras, which we shall find in the last chapter of Bhagavad Gita. But in all cases, one should give up the results or the fruits of his labor. This means to employ the result of karma for some good cause. In summary, to reach the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the highest goal, there are two processes. One process is by gradual development, and the other process is direct. Devotional service in Krishna consciousness is the direct method. And the other method involves renouncing the fruits of one's activities. Then one can come to the stage of knowledge, then to the stage of meditation, then to the state of understanding the super soul, then to the stage of understanding the Supreme Personality of God. One can take either the step-by-step process or the direct path. The direct process is not possible for everyone. Therefore, the indirect process is also good. It is, however, to be understood that the indirect process is not recommended for Arjuna, because he is already at the stage of loving devotional service to the Supreme Lord. It is for others who are not at this stage, for them the gradual process of renunciation, knowledge, meditation and realization of the Super Soul and the Brahman should be followed. But as far as Bhagavad Gita is concerned, it is the direct method that is stressed. Everyone is advised to take to the direct method and surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. The Lord is recommending here two pathways of advancement. The direct method, which entails engagement in devotional service. And the second method, which begins from cultivation of knowledge, and then evolves into meditation, and then further evolves into a renunciation of the fruits of one's activities, which is what offers, or which is a stabilizing factor. Sets a pathway for transformation, opens the doors, sets a pathway for transformation. So we will see that the nature of the material world is that it is cold, and inert, and therefore material knowledge no matter how much we amass it, doesn't satisfy. But because spiritual world is full of dynamism, therefore spiritual life or spiritual knowledge is very powerful. Why? Because it sets the living entity into motion. So material stimuli always drags one's consciousness to an intoxicated state. And transcendental knowledge, transcendental knowledge actually offers the resolution pathways. So the consciousness, the natural disposition of the consciousness of every living entity is to flow or to make it flow towards the Supreme Lord. And material factors create blockages. And therefore the consciousness gets stuck up or choked up and it doesn't flow towards Krishna. So now the spiritual factors, the spiritual knowledge offers resolution pathways to clear off the blockage so that the consciousness can again flow towards Krishna. Beautiful spiritual knowledge is very amazing. So we will see in that sense uh, nothing in spiritual life is namesake. Everything in spiritual life uh, uh, ignites the motions. That's how spiritual life is. Everything in spiritual life ignites the motion actually. This proves that the premise of uh, uh, this proves that uh, uh, the activity of uh, so this proves that the activity of Sravanam is not a passive activity. That's what it proves. Many times people say, what do you do whole day? Simply hearing, reading, what does that bring about? What change that brings about? Mind it, to bring about a positive change in any aspect of the world is not at all an easy task. Many people try to bring about some or the other change, but they end up adding even more commotion than what was there before. So to bring about a change is not an easy task. Commotion, increase of entropy, that's another subject matter. That is the default state. So when to bring about a change, is not at all easy. So how does the change come about? Yeah. That is the idea. The change comes about by the change comes about uh, by this phenomena which is being explained here. So whenever there is lack of clarity, we need more Shravanam. Now Shravanam is going to act because it's not passive. It's going to act. But now, so if now Shravanam is undertaken, uh, say mindlessly or without any aim, Now, if Sravanam is undertaken mindlessly without any aim, that is one way of Sravanam. Just mindlessly, okay, I just happened to hear some lectures. So you like the lecture? Yes. What did you like? Everything. Thank you. You know. So uh, tell some point. Yeah, that only Krishna is very amazing. You know, love God. So fine. So that is one level of it. You know, without an aim. Then also Shravanam is going to act. This is the point which is being spoken. But the clause is it will act in that sense. In that case, it is going to act slowly. When Shravanam, that is, when Shravanam is mixed with the question, how do I apply this in my life? How do we apply this principle in our setting, in our situation, in our community? How do we apply this in when situation is like this, when situation is like that? When Shravanam is done, when this is the aim, so this how to apply becomes the aim actually, the goal. Uh, so then actually Shravanam gets directed towards meditation, and thus the process of advancement is faster, or the process of bringing about that positive change is faster. So that is the point. So the goal is, the goal has to be, the goal lies in the attitude of the hearer, lies in the attitude of the hearer. Uh, so that's the point, that needs to be there, and if that is there, then the Shravanam will act faster, will convert faster. So how do I apply this? Just like google.com website, www.google.com. So now if now you see, Google works best if you have some query. If you have some query, then Google will work best. You type the query, you will get a lot of results. Some tangible results you start getting. No? So Google works best in that way, is it not? So one can put a query. But suppose one has no query, then one will see a white screen, with the search, with the search space like that. But then also Google tries to give, in the name of the Google, there will be somebody's photo, that person's happy birthday will be there. If you scroll over, then Google will tell this person did so and so things. Is it not? Some knowledge is being disseminated, but quite minimal, is it not? Not much we get it, right? But then if there is a query, then one can get a good amount of substantial knowledge. Like you have a query of a particular research paper, you type the area, it will tell a lot of results, is it not? So that's the point. Till the time we keep questioning whether to apply or not, the speed doesn't pick up. When we come to the stage of how to apply now, there's no question of whether or not. We need to apply it. How to apply it? When the question comes now, how to apply, then the speed goes fast. That is the point. Because now the question has come, how do I apply? Application has to be done. It's now figure out how do you do it. That's the idea. And the speed is fast. So what will happen with the so this is the second type of attitude towards Sravanam. So now the question comes, okay, that if one just maintains the first type of attitude, what is going to happen? So from Tattva point of view, we understand Agya Sukriti is going to happen. Bhakti Unmukh Agya Sukriti is going to work out. So what will happen? One will feel good. Oh yes, it's good stuff, we had some good time. This is not. Agya Sukriti is going on. So one keeps hearing, One day that point will click. I need to do this. Let's do it. Is it not? So that point will click. Then one will come to the point, okay, now how should I do it? How to fit in? What exact steps to take? How do I want to take it? So that's what will happen by knowledge eventually. But but we can actually go quite fast by adding the attitude of how right from the beginning. As an aim or a query when we go to the Shastras. When we go to the Krishna Katha. That's the point. And now the next point which is explained is there by meditation or by repeated and prolonged meditation, one will be able to renounce the fruits of action. So that which one is not able to do, one will be able to do after meditation. Transcendental knowledge creates the pathways, the meditation solidifies the pathways, or meditation makes one move on the transcendental pathways. And then the next point which comes is the renunciation of action. Then one will be able to renounce the things of this world. So how does that work out? So meditation, so it is meditation which is offering, which offers fixity or stability to a devotee. Or we can say it is meditation which starts offering that fixity and stability. So one is able to see that he can be very stable in with the spiritual principles. That's what meditation is going to do. And when this happens, then the physical manifestation of it, that is the renunciation of fruits of action, becomes very easy. Just like if one has done a simulation of a material, then actually one has or a machine or a material, one has simulated a machine part, and that simulation is well there inside, and now he has to print it out, a 3D printing. So he has to just type the print command. That's exactly what meditation means actually. So one is simulating, that means and subtly one is able to get footing, and one can see that he can be stable. And this makes sense. This is good. This is can cling on this platform, and therefore one can easily move towards the next step. Easily one can move towards the next step. So meditation will will in due course of time ignite that kick, you know, to offer it to Krishna, to be available for Krishna. That's what meditation will integrate to. So knowledge integrates to meditation. Okay, how should I? Uh, how should I apply? How should I follow? What way I should serve? And meditation condenses in renunciation of fruits of action. So renunciation of fruits of action means now the fruits of action are being channelized towards yajna, offering to the Lord, or one level lesser than that, offering for any good cause. Offering for any good cause. That the Lord is explaining. So now this also has another meaning, and that is the meditation. So that is actually the third attitude towards Sravanam, or the third approach. In the third approach, the living entity, the devotee has a goal of following, has a goal of applying. So with that goal, he is diving into the Shastras. And along with that, living entity is he is this. Along with that, the person is trying to stretch himself to create space for Krishna, somehow or the other. That is also possible. So neophyte can also do a very tangible service. Only thing is he has to stretch a lot because he is neophyte. Otherwise he can also do service. He has to stretch a lot. Whereas one who is advanced, his heart and consciousness naturally flow there. So with ease he can execute that service. Is it not? That's the only difference. That's the only difference. So therefore, when a sadhaka, along with the query, one wants to also stretch. That okay, whether I like it or not, this I am doing, because Shastra is saying, because this is devotional service, this will please Krishna, let me stretch myself, doesn't matter. And that is the third approach towards Sravanam. And in the third setting, Sravanam will act with a superlative speed. Because now everything in the circuitry is set in place and everything is set. In that way, advancement is faster. So now we can understand and appreciate you know, what we call as Krishna consciousness or activities of Krishna consciousness, why they are faster. Because activities of Krishna consciousness involve all the three phases simultaneously. Simultaneously. It involves cultivation of knowledge. It involves meditation and it involves renunciation at the same time. At the same time. And because of that, Krishna consciousness is a direct method. It works very fast, it works very powerfully. So we'll stop here. We'll continue again in our next class. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai.